Before the first relaxer was ever created, before Dark and Lovely, before Mega Growth, before Creamy Crack, African women had some of the longest hair you would ever see. I mean, hair that went all the way down to their back, to their knees, to the floor. Thick and luscious and long hair, and they used nothing from a store. Not a single product, no chemicals, just plant and animal fat. Plants that are still growing in our compound and are being sold in the market right now. I'm going to be sharing some of them with you. Plants that are still growing in our compounds, plants that we probably have in our kitchen, plants that are still being sold in the market in this day and age, and at this very minute, I'm going to be breaking them down and sharing the precise ones with you. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I am not anti-natural hair products. In fact, I am all about making sure that you get whatever product or whatever DIY it is that you need, which is going to make your natural hair journey very, very easy and most efficient. I've been natural for a very long time and I have used all manner of things. I have done all manner of things. I have bought all manner of products from the store, expensive products, cheap products. I have used relaxers. I have grown my natural hair. I have done my own products at home. I have different perspectives and I have learned different lessons from every single one of the things I have done and the things I have used for my hair and on my hair. I also know which ones to recommend if you're looking for something in particular, or if you have a certain lifestyle, a certain schedule, or a certain structure about you. As much as I love formulated products because they are easy and the work has already been done for you, things like Moringa, things like chebe powder, things like even olive oil, coconut oil, all of these things that seem pretty basic and they are things that we mostly eat. If you have the opportunity to use these things on your own hair, I need you to test it. And then you are going to be the one that decides whether or not there are things that you like, whether or not there are things that actually work, and whether or not you'll be willing to add or incorporate them into your hair care routine. I'm not just going to tell you about the plants, but I'm going to break down how you should use them for maximum hair growth. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Eva here. And really quickly, if you've missed out on my April cohort of the 30-day hair growth challenge or workshop, and you would love to join the May cohort, registration is currently open, and I'm going to leave the link in the description box and the pinned comment so that I can go ahead and check that out. All of the information about the workshop is in the link. Tap on that, sign up, and make sure you don't miss out. The first plant we're going to be talking about is Moringa, or Zogale in Hausa dialect. If you're Nigerian, you already know this plant. It is green, and I'm going to be doing a more detailed video where I show you how to break it down and make it and use it for your hair growth. Moringa can be used as a spice and is included in soups, it's added in food, it grows everywhere. But what you don't know is that you can also use it as an Ayurvedic treatment for your hair. You may be wondering why Moringa is something you can use on your hair. You're already familiar with spices that are popular like rosemary, like fenugreek. What most people don't know is that Moringa has 17 times more calcium than milk, and it is loaded with iron. Two of the biggest reasons why hair stops growing: iron deficiency and reduction of blood flow circulation throughout the scalp. Moringa addresses both of these things and helps to improve both of these things. The simplest way you can use Moringa for hair growth is by ingesting it as a tea. So the same way you make black tea like Lipton or green tea and drink is the same way you're going to boil a few leaves of Moringa and turn it into a teacup. You may need to strain it a little bit, but turn that mixture into a teacup and then drink it as a tea. If you don't have access to Moringa leaves, you can use Moringa powder. So do the same thing into a cup, pour in some boiling hot water, add a teaspoon or two of Moringa powder, stir it, allow it to settle. You can also choose to strain the mixture a little bit or strain it to take out the particles and then drink that as a tea. Very beneficial. And I'm telling you, these are the things that I saw my parents consuming that I was told to consume. But you know, I was a child and consuming things like Moringa tea was not that palatable. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a very, very, very specific seed that my dad used to force us to chew because it is that beneficial, not just for hair growth, but for the whole body. And that is black seed or Kalonji. I'm here to tell you that black seeds or Kalonji are one of the most beneficial things you can ever use for your hair growth. Include in your hair oil, include in your hair growth spray. I keep using Kalonji or black seeds. I include it in every single thing that I make for my hair. I find a way to infuse it into my products. And when I tell you, this is such a game changer when it comes to healthy healthy hair care, healthy hair growth and maintenance. Kalonji is very powerful and it is sold in practically every market here in Nigeria. If you're looking for a way to identify or buy any of these things that I'm calling, I want you guys to look out for the Hausa men that sell spices and herbs in wheelbarrows or just in stands. You will see them, they have these spices and herbs in little rubber bowls and they just display them openly, so you'll be able to look at them and know immediately that those are spices. That's one of the ways that I get my own herbs and spices. Apart from that, I look for specific stores that sell herbs and spices. The only downside is that these stores may sell them more expensive, even though the quantity will be more. Kalonji has been used in West Africa for hundreds of years before, and it's mentioned in prophetic medicine as one of the cures for practically any and everything except death. Black seed or Kalonji contains something called thymoquinone, which reduces scalp inflammation. And inflammation is one of the hidden causes of hair thinning that people may never think to address. Your hair isn't growing because your scalp is inflamed, not because you need a new product or because your hair has gotten too used to the products that you have been using for the past couple of months. So if you cannot bring yourself to chew the black seeds, you can opt for black seed oil. Alternatively, you can infuse your black seeds into a carrier oil, also add in essential oils and a few other ingredients to make a powerful Ayurvedic oil for your hair growth and maintenance. Either way, adding Kalonji or black seeds into your hair products is one of the ways you can completely turn around and improve your hair growth and your scalp health. We move on to my personal favorite moisturizing plant, which is aloe vera. So it's one of those plants that are very, very beneficial when used for moisturizing. It's a humectant, meaning it helps to pull moisture into the hair. It can also be used as a gel because of the slimy consistency. And so you apply that to your hair and your curls are instantly defined. Aloe vera has so many amazing benefits and it's also one of the most popular plants that can be found practically any and everywhere in the world. It's incredibly affordable and you can get this and use it in your hair growth treatment. Most people may buy processed aloe vera gel from the store. Well, that is okay. I always advise that if you can find the raw aloe vera leaf, so what you're going to do when you get that is you're going to slice it open, then you're going to scrape out all of the gel, and then you're going to use that gel as a moisturizer for your hair or for your deep conditioning treatment or even as a pre-poo to detangle your hair and to help feed in moisture and nutrients back into the hair. That clear gel inside the aloe vera is antibacterial. It helps to balance your scalp's pH and it clears the way for new hair to grow. Our grandmothers didn't necessarily apply oil to their scalp. They applied things like this that cleared the way for hair to grow well, removed blockages, removed clogging, and made managing and handling the hair very, very easy. So if you want to use aloe vera without adding in any other thing to the treatment, and simply use the aloe vera gel, apply it to your hair, leave it in for about 30 minutes and then proceed to rinse it out. For extra heat, you can even cover your hair with a plastic bag or use a heating cap. Then we have my personal favorite, which is Pawpaw leaf. This one surprises a lot of people the same way palm oil for hair growth surprises people. Now, I've made several videos where I showed you how to use pawpaw leaf to grow your hair, and those videos went viral and got me loads of questions talking about, is it pawpaw leaf, is it papaya leaf? I didn't know I could use this. Pawpaw trees are found almost everywhere. I know they're found in almost everywhere in Africa. I can't speak for abroad, but if you have an idea whether or not pawpaw leaves are popular abroad, please leave it in the comments. If you cannot access raw pawpaw leaves, always feel free to use the powdered form. I like to point this out. If you cannot access the raw ingredients that I mentioned in these videos, feel free to go for the powdered forms or the dried versions. One way or another, you're going to see either the powdered or the raw form. And the advantage of the dried version is you may not necessarily need to step outside to get it. If you cannot find it within your vicinity, it will be possible for you to get these ones online, maybe Amazon or whatever website you use to shop in your location. Pawpaw leaf contains something that is called papain, a natural enzyme that breaks down dead skin cells and unclogs hair follicles. If your scalp is flaky and itchy or your hair feels like it's growing slowly no matter what you do, then the problem may be blocked follicles. What you're going to do, the easiest way to use this papaya leaf is that you're going to boil it in water for about 5 to 10 minutes. When you first place your pawpaw leaves inside water, the leaf is going to be green and the water is going to be clear. But after boiling for about 5 to 10 minutes, the water is going to turn to dark brown and the pawpaw leaf is also going to turn to brown, meaning that the nutrients have been extracted from the leaf and they're now in the water. So take out the leaf, allow the water to cool down, and then pour that water over your hair and scalp as the final rinse after you are done washing your hair. After pouring that over your hair, you're not going to rinse it out with clear, clean water. You're going to allow allow that water to remain in your hair, then you're going to proceed to moisturize your hair using your other products. The women who use this traditionally just knew that it made their hair and scalp feel clean and it helped their hair to grow better. And this one that I'm about to mention is probably something that you are drinking every other week and you don't know that you can use it on your hair. I'm talking about hibiscus, or what we call Zobo in these parts. Hibiscus, we're talking about the hibiscus petals, and Zobo is the hibiscus petals that have been dried. When we make Zobo drink, we use these hibiscus petals, we boil them, we include pineapples, we include honey, we include sweeteners, we may include ginger and just other herbal ingredients to make it into a fortifying drink, a very healthy drink which replaces soda and which is served as refreshment in all manner of events and ceremonies. Did you know that you can also use the same hibiscus apply to your hair and boost your hair growth? Now, you can use the hibiscus mix on its own without adding all the pineapple, the ginger, the extra ingredients, since you're not going to be making a drink out of it. So simply boil hibiscus petals, the dried one, inside water, and then allow the water to cool down. Strain the mixture to remove particles and then apply it to your hair as a tea or a hairspray. Now, these deep red petals of hibiscus are packed with amino acids that support keratin production. Keratin is the protein that's in the hair that causes hair to grow, and keratin is quite literally what your hair is made of. Hibiscus is also rich in vitamin C, which helps the body to absorb iron. And this takes us all the way back to point one, which is Moringa. When combined together, they work very well together. Moringa and hibiscus leaves or hibiscus hair tea. And the sixth plant, last but not least, is fenugreek. People often have a problem with fenugreek because when you include it in your hair treatment, you start smelling like spices, or you start smelling like smoky jollof rice, or you just start smelling like a stew. That's the only one that tends to make you smell this way or make your hair treatment smell this way. But apart from that, fenugreek is one of the plants that when it's made into a treatment, it has a very gelatinous consistency. It's great if you're trying to detangle your hair. It has amazing sleep and it just makes the hair feel very, very revived and very, very healthy. Fenugreek is known as Hulba in Arabic. It's also called methi seeds, and like the moringa or the other plants, it's sold by the Hausa traders that sell herbs and spices. It has been used to cook for so many generations that most people don't even know that it can also be used for a hair growth treatment. Fenugreek contains phytoestrogen, which are plant compounds that help balance the hormones that directly affect hair growth. If you're experiencing shedding, especially due to stress or after your cycle, or maybe even after a pregnancy, applying fenugreek directly to the hair is going to cause it to go directly after the hormonal course of the shedding. The easiest way to use fenugreek as a treatment is to soak a tablespoon of fenugreek inside some water, leave that overnight. The next morning, blend the mixture into a paste. Now, when you soak fenugreek for that long, the seeds are going to expand, meaning by the time you blend that mixture, you have a thick paste that's gelatinous. You are now going to apply that paste to your hair and your scalp, let it sit for 45 minutes and then rinse it out. You may need to strain this mixture because of the particles from blending the fenugreek. This is a very, very great treatment if you're struggling with postpartum hair loss. And I've never really made any video on what you should use if you're struggling with postpartum hair loss. If you would like a video on that, leave a comment below and I will get it done. But that's it. I hope you paid attention to these plants. I want you to also comment below if these plants are things that can be found around you. These are all plants that come directly from the ground, herbal, very strong, and they help to improve the health and the quality of your hair. If you include any or all of these into your hair care products that you make at home, trust me, you will not regret it. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.